either way, paying attention to the biological life or political life, you're looking at 671 different counties of state at the time. So, that's just pretty much dealing with 1998 to 2015 and dealing with population circumstances. So, it's dealing with inaction movements. You're dealing with all type of motion censored type deals at the time, as we get more embedded with 671 different coordinates of anacity at the time compared to 6:30 a.m. to 2027 at 6:30 p.m. of November 15th is pretty much where we're getting more into that adaptation and being able to know more about even more classification of population in national state. And the most thing that I like staying at most is being in popular places like Italy, Los Angeles, and Austin. Those are pretty much where I like to be able to transition and be in majority of the time as I get more sufficiency towards having more of a land opportunity for not just anybody, but myself included. And that's pretty much where you add in all different types of subscriptions that make one point of multiple different types of characteristics. So it's pretty much dealing with Timu of one bought product with 12 different objectives to it. So just being able to be something that gives you more attention and being able to know more about the situations that give you a system of response at the time. So it's just basically dealing with what you have and being able to coordinate with what you have, dealing with 697 hours in a day and dealing with more of 614 hours a week. So it's dealing with orange, green, and blue seasons, and dealing with the whole 671 month um, difference as you get more into knowing different constellations and different districts of republics at the time. So with that, you just dealing with all point of Google Maps on Adobe, and being able to promote more exclusive points to your constellations is pretty much what you're doing. And it's pretty much as you're using EcoHerb um, space satellites to promote more for that detail. So it's dealing with more of 1907 to 2024, and dealing with the older time of tradition of orange, green, and blue characteristics, colonies, and traits at the moment as you use more for the skills that is needed for 2008 of 2018, and being able to know more about the newer production of products after 2018 and 2028. And it's just pretty much using more of the national look of navigations at the time of all point, interlink, and Google Maps. And, being able to know more about what Google Infomart could do to enhance that Google Map is the key to restoration at the time as we get more mapping fields with different departments or districts that are included in there, where you can make different companies that sell different objectives based off of what we have to offer, at that era of time of 2:26 p.m. at September 18th of 2027. And it's just pretty much dealing with the primary care physician of the whole the whole state of Texas in Rosewood Springs to Rosewood Zaragoza to Rosewood Rosewood Springs to Gibbons, and just pretty much dealing with those main titles, and dealing with the whole 1897 gig of the season. It's pretty much dealing with 2015 of 2027 within those classes, as you use that in your program of displays at the time on Spotify, Adobe, and a Spotify, Adobe, and Frostbite 2. So, just dealing with those types of combinations, and, dealing with more of 90746 forms of Adobe is pretty much where you want to be able to set a solid standard of, of who's playing the game and who owns the property at the time, as you earn more property rights towards having 19.1 options towards your right, and being able to know your particular division of position at the time of 19.1 characterizations throughout Austria Lagoon of Crockett to Mabel Davis out there in Palmer out there, and being able to know more about situations of Texas at the time of All Point. So with that, we're looking at All Point, we're looking at Adobe, and we're looking at Spotify. And that's pretty much where you come into context to knowing what a 9.1 is at 9:34 in the morning. So just being able to learn more about a more reference individual wallpaper of what you're going through, and being able to look at more of a Audi type display format of a 9:07:47 p.m. Clock at the time. So just dealing with 2007 to 2027, and being able to deal with 207.46% of purple, green, and orange displays of Ferrari, Audi, and Infinity after 2:27 p.m. February 26, 2016, and being able to know more about the 297% that gets approved at the time, other than just having that 6.1 record changing demographic for your 6-month analysis. So with that being said, that's just a whole 6.1 for 3.1, which is due process at the time. So it's just pretty much dealing with 9:07:46 p.m. 9 hours later, and dealing with 9 hours after that, and 970 hours after that, and being able to know more about the proposition of the programs is pretty much where you learn the difference between what you want. So that's looking at McDonald's, that's looking at Spotify, that's looking at All Point. You're looking at your district at that point in time. So, it's pretty much as you're looking at more the McDonald's that's sponsored by your point of conclusion, and, understanding more about your area of rate of McDonald's in your state of Texas after 9:06:46 p.m. of 2:27:47, and, understanding more about the combinations that go with them as being a telecommunications officer. And being able to be able to be notifier within the situations that we have in a diverse of state. So it's pretty much using 907 different propositions to promote a subscription, and using more of Time Warner Cable, Spotify, and Suddenlink as well. Time Warner Cable, Spotify, and Penske to promote more for those job duties and those whereabouts at the time. So that's Spotify, Allpoint, and Penske that goes with those types of details that you spend 9.1 hours working on those situations that you make yourself, or you either get put in those situations. That's a 9.1 conclusion. So, you got all different types of decisions in the same state. It's just like 2018. So, it's pretty much dealing with Sam Houston, Webb, and Pickle at the same time. To those that want to listen, so, that's being part of Eco Herb 747 or Eco Herb 247. So that's being a part of Eco Herb 247, which is another unit of instructed members ready for 9:07:46 p.m. of September 15th. Which is where you learn more about Christmas, you learn more about Thanksgiving, you learn more about Easter. So you're getting on down the road of knowing what nine semesters is, and knowing what 906.46% will do for you, and being able to know more about 9.1 of Texas A&M and Texas Tech, versus Sam Houston's moguls, that's politically sponsored by Enterprise Interscopes, which is by Enterprise moguls. Um, um, Statistics at the time. So it's pretty much using Enterprise mogul statistics at the time, which is what Sam Houston State University has brought on. Being able to know more about the Maxima to the Challenger to the Chrysler to the Charger. You're learning more about the primary look of the primary individual, where you being able to know more about the basics of the institution. So that's pretty much working on Enterprise and Sam Houston at the same time. So it's not